Hey guys, so I'm posting this as a bit of a coming out and an explanation as to why and how I came to my choice to strip myself of magical thinking and religion. So I want to start out mainly with a little bit of background. Um, when I was young, I never had any religious experience. My biological mother never took me or any of my siblings, which would just be my sister, to church. However, at the age of 6, some Jehovah's Witnesses came over to our apartment and my mom allowed them in. I didn't think they were anything more than my mom's friends, mostly because she was young. She had friends over all the time. But then they started talking to us about Jesus, and that kind of made me question my mom, thinking, what are we? And so I asked her. She simply said, well, we're Baptist, but I don't like to go to church. And she left it at that. Now, at the age of 7, I was taken from my biological mother's care and placed into the care of my paternal grandmother. Now, this woman is very old, very strict, very religious Roman Catholic. And because my mom's non-Catholic beliefs, she judged me and my older sister to be spawn of Satan. Now, because of her predetermination of me, she took it upon herself to call her local bishop to perform an emergency conversion. Now, in Catholic dogma, an emergency conversion can be done when people are on their deathbed or if their soul is perceived to be in mortal danger, which honestly, according to Catholic dogma, is anyone who isn't already Catholic, their soul is in mortal danger anyways. However, it's usually performed on someone who has an idea of what's really going on, someone with a cognitive process to understand. Now, that being said, I was 7. I did not understand what was going on, and even according to Catholic dogma, a child at that age would usually be put into catechism and religion courses. And they're normally not given the sacraments of their own volition until they've studied and made the conscious choice to become Catholic. Now, I was 7 and I wasn't given this choice. I wasn't put into classes. I was baptized in my grandmother's bathroom tub, given communion, and then forced to confess sins that I had never done. For example, being in concert with the devil, they call it, even though I had absolutely no concept of what the devil even was at that time. Luckily, I lived in that environment for only a couple of months, and shortly before my 8th birthday, I was put into state-funded foster care. And personally, I think that was almost as bad. The foster parent that I was placed with was a charismatic Christian. So in my opinion, going from bad to worse. And in that home, I was forced to be baptized yet again as a Christian, as a Protestant Christian. And I really still didn't understand what they were talking about and what they meant with regards to a baptism. I was just told that a Catholic conversion didn't mean anything in the eyes of the Lord. And when I questioned it as to why it would mean anything in the eyes of the Lord, the foster mother just looked at me and spanked me. I didn't even get, the usual, well, because they're just not Christian answer. I just got spanked. Luckily, I only spent a year in that house, but as that year did drag on, I became more and more indoctrinated to their belief system. All I gotta say is I'm just very thankful for the social worker who after a home visit and witnessing my foster parents' form of discipline, petition to have me moved. And I put discipline in quotation marks because as an 8-year-old little girl who weighed probably no more than 75 or 80 pounds at the time, her form of discipline was to sit on me. And this woman was 5'7" and 500 pounds. Yeah, that was her form of discipline, sitting on me. And again, luckily I was, I was taken out of that house, and luckily it was literally only a year to within days of being placed in that house I was put my new one. Unfortunately, at the time that I was placed in my new home, I was so indoctrinated that when my new foster mom, who later became my permanent mother, asked me what I would like for my birthday, the first thing out of my mouth was, well, Jesus says it's better to give than to receive. And just like that. Yeah, in that same tone. To that, the woman was great. She didn't even skip a beat and replied, so you're saying I should give away everything that I bought for you? That would include presents, furniture, clothes, food. You sure you want to live with us? Yeah, it was really great. I got pwned at a very young age. That's honestly what it was. I was pwned. But, that conversation also made me stop and think, can I still be a good Christian if all I want is material things? And later on, as I grew up, I realized that I was very lucky to have my foster parents, again, who became my permanent parents. They instilled in me a curiosity that was suppressed in my other homes. I was allowed to question without fear of reprisal. I was encouraged to think for myself and define what best suited me. Granted, as I grew up, I still clung to thinking that we were created and that there were deities who controlled our fate, and that we could appease those deities through prayer and meditation and rituals. And with those beliefs, I became Wiccan first, honestly. First it was Druid, and then I changed to Egyptian paganism, and the Egyptian pantheism that I followed at first slowly morphed into from a general pantheistic view to a monotheistic Egyptian pagan. I went from revering all deities to one specific deity, namely Set. Now, just a little bit of history on Set. He has been demonized in the modern world by Christians and Muslims and Jews and their priests because of his association with chaotic energy. However, Set was never the evil associated with the Egyptian pantheon. He wasn't. He was actually the protector of evil of the god Ra, according to their beliefs. He protected the god Ra from their true evil, Apep, also known as Apophis. And I enjoyed educating people in that, making them understand that their beliefs and their preconceived notions of Set was held in ignorance. I thought it was great, teaching people new things. And, I held those beliefs until very recently. Once I realized that I hadn't prayed or held a ritual or even honestly meditated in years. Now, don't get me wrong. Even through all of this religious experiences and changes that I had growing up, I always did rely on my education. I was educated in secular public schools, and I'm very glad for it. I gained a love for science, and honestly, I never gave that up. Even during my times of fanatical Christianity, I still held on to the scientific method and the questioning personality that was instilled in me. And to the point that I actually tried to legitimize creationist dogma into more of a scientific process in order to mesh with my secular thought process. And yeah, that didn't work. Now, it's been 5 years now, just about 5 years, that I've been slowly getting away from, a deistic and atheistic worldview. First, it started by just not praying every day, not performing rituals every day. I still praised my God when good things happened and associated myself as a pagan. But in the last couple of months, I began associating more with atheists, becoming friends with atheists, following atheist group, watching atheist videos. And I realized that, I do agree with them on so many things, so many points that are brought up. And so, I decided to step back and do a self-realization process. Why do I consider myself a deist? Have I really been blessed by a deity? Or was it through my own hard work that I grew into the woman that I am? Is there really something, out there controlling me, or am I the master of my own fate? And, that was the point through that realization process that I understood that I hadn't in fact been a deist for years. I realized I was holding on to the label of religion almost as a crutch, but I didn't really believe, Through all this, I've realized I don't need to believe. I realized that all the good things in my life over the last few years have been through my own actions, not through some mystic invisible source. I did it. Me. That's right. So that's my story, my coming of age, if you will, and coming to freedom. Now that history is done, I just kind of want to send some shout outs. I really want to thank the members of the Facebook group Science or GTFO for their help in questioning my beliefs. You guys and gals challenged me and helped me to think for myself, really, I also want to thank a couple of people here on YouTube, Thunderfoot and Oh My God, It's Chris. Through your videos, of course we've never met, but through your videos you guys helped me to open my eyes to what it means to be an atheist in this day of technology and walled forums, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you know what? I welcome the criticism that will come, Your videos showed me that I am strong enough to deal with any negative connotations that will come.